think Porsche was for people who had more money than sense. You know the guy in the 911 at the coffee shop? Total show-off. Those prices? Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, a base 911 Carrera starts at around $115,000. That's GTR money. That's C8 Corvette money. That's almost 2 Honda Civic Type Rs. And for what? A car that looks basically the same as it did in 1963? A car that puts the engine in the wrong place? A car that, let's be honest, your dentist probably drives to make himself feel younger. I had strong opinions back then. I had a Honda S2000 that revved to 9,000 RPM and cost a third of what they wanted for their entry-level sports car. I had a BMW M3 that could embarrass most things on a back road. I thought I knew what driving was about. I thought I understood the whole performance per dollar thing. I was wrong about a lot of stuff. See, I fell into the same trap most car guys do. I measured everything in numbers. 0 to 60 times, horsepower figures, lap times, price comparisons, and on paper, Porsche rarely wins these battles. A Tesla Model S Plaid will absolutely destroy a 911 Turbo S in a straight line. A Corvette Z06 will lap most tracks faster than a 911 GTS. A Camaro SS will give you that V8 rumble for half the price. But here's what I didn't get. Porsche isn't trying to win those battles. They're playing a completely different game. The test drive wasn't my idea. A buddy needed someone to drive his car back from the dealer after a service. It's just a 911, he said. Nothing special, but I need a favor. Nothing special. Right. It doesn't look like much when it's sitting there, engine off. It's smaller than you expect, less dramatic than the photos suggest, more restrained. Like it's not trying to prove anything to anyone walking by. Then you get in, and the first thing you notice is the ignition switch. It's on the left side of the steering wheel. A throwback to Le Mans racing when drivers would run to their cars, jump in, and fire them up as quickly as possible. It's a small detail, but it hints at something deeper. This isn't just a car, it's connected to something bigger. The engine starts with a twist of that key, and there's no drama. No loud roar, no backfire show. Just a calm, confident hum that sounds right. Like this is exactly what an engine should sound like when it's not trying to impress anyone. You pull away, and something feels different right away. The steering is light but precise, not heavy like the BMWs, trying to convince you it's sporty. Not overboosted like so many modern cars that feel disconnected from the road. It's just right. The car talks to you, not in shouts, but in smooth, easy conversation. Every input matters. Every movement gets a response. It's like the car knows what you're about to do before you do it. Not in some digital, overprocessed way, but in something that feels honest, mechanical, real. Then you press the gas pedal, not hard, just enough. And it goes. Not like some maniac trying to prove a point. More like a pro who's already won, quietly reminding you how it's done. That's when something clicks. That's when you realize you might have been measuring the wrong things this whole time. Here's what 75 years of constant improvement gets you. A car that doesn't need to shout about its abilities because they're built into every single part. That flat six engine hanging out back, it's not there by accident. It's there because Ferdinand Porsche figured out in 1948 that mounting the engine behind the rear axle creates a weight distribution that, when properly managed, gives you traction where you need it most. The horizontally opposed cylinders cancel out vibrations and lower the center of gravity. It's not the easiest solution, it's not the cheapest solution, but it's the right solution, and they've been perfecting it ever since. The 2025 911 Carrera makes 388 horsepower from a 3.0-liter twin-turbo flat 6. The new GTS T-Hybrid adds a 53 horsepower electric motor built into the 8-speed PDK gearbox, bringing total output to 532 horsepower. But here's the thing, it's not about the numbers, it's about how those numbers are delivered. The electric compressor spins at 28,000 RPM to get rid of turbo lag completely. The hybrid system's 1.9 kilowatt-hour battery weighs less than a bag of groceries, so it doesn't mess up the car's balance. Every part serves the driving experience, not the spec sheet. This is engineering as philosophy, where other car manufacturers add power and technology to hide basic problems. Porsche improves the basics until they need no hiding. The result is a car that feels like an extension of your thoughts rather than a machine you're fighting to control. They've been doing this for decades. The 917 that dominated Le Mans in 1970 and 1971, its technology filtered down to road cars. The 919 hybrid that set the Nürburgring lap record, its 800-volt electrical system went straight into the Taycan. The 963 that won both IMSA and WEC championships in 2024, its lessons are already being applied to the next generation of road cars. When you buy a Porsche, you're not just buying a car. You're buying the collected wisdom of thousands of race laps, millions of test miles, and generations of engineers who cared more about getting it right than getting it first. It took me 3 months to admit what was happening. 3 months of finding excuses to drive past the Porsche dealer. 3 months of watching 911 reviews on YouTube at 2 a.m. 3 months of running calculations in my head about depreciation and maintenance costs. Because here's what I was slowly realizing. It's not about having 700 horsepower. It's about using 300 horsepower perfectly. Think about it. How often do you actually use all the performance your car has? How often do you take your 500 horsepower muscle car to its limits? Most of us, if we're being honest, spend 95% of our time in the first third of our car's ability. So why not make that first third as perfect as possible? The 911 is designed around that idea. It's not the fastest car in a straight line. It's not the most powerful, but it's the most capable at the speeds you'll actually drive. The most confidence-inspiring in the situations you'll actually encounter. The most satisfying in the moments that actually matter. On a winding road, it doesn't matter that a Hellcat makes 700 horsepower. What matters is how the car responds to your inputs, how it tells you what the wheels are doing, how it makes you feel connected to the act of driving rather than just along for the ride. That's what I was starting to understand. The 911 isn't trying to be the ultimate performance car. It's trying to be the ultimate driving car, and those are two very different things. Other cars want to be your identity. They want to make a statement about who you are, what you can afford, and you think is important. The 911 just wants to make you a better driver. It wants to amplify your skills, not hide your mistakes. And maybe that's why it works so well as a daily driver, because it's not constantly trying to prove something. It's just good at what it does. Refined, complete. Let's talk about money, because that's usually where dreams crash into reality. Yeah, Porsche is expensive. That 911 Carrera at $115,000 is serious money. But here's what the sticker price doesn't tell you. Porsche has some of the best resale values in the industry. Multiple analysts rank them among the cars that lose the least value over time. 5-year resale values often stay around 60% of what you originally paid. Compare that to most other performance cars. That $60,000 BMW M3, it'll be worth maybe $30,000 in 5 years. That $70,000 Cadillac CT4V Blackwing, good luck getting half that back. But the 911, it holds its value like a Rolex. Let's run the numbers on a 5-year ownership period. A $115,000 911 Carrera drops to about $69,000. That's $46,000 in depreciation. A $60,000 BMW M3 drops to about $30,000. That's $30,000 in depreciation. So the total cost difference? $16,000 over 5 years. That's $3,200 per year, or about $267 per month. For $267 per month, you get Porsche's engineering, Porsche's history, Porsche's driving experience, and Porsche's community. You get a car that was designed by people who understand what driving is supposed to feel like. You get a car that makes you actually look forward to your commute. And the maintenance costs? They're not as bad as people think. Modern 911s need oil changes every 10,000 miles or once a year. A routine service runs about $350. That's similar to an Audi S model and actually less than maintaining a twin-turbo Ferrari V8. Insurance is about 15% higher than a comparable BMW M4, but that's offset by the better resale value. And if you're smart about options, adaptive sport seats, yes. Leather-wrapped vent slats, probably not. You can build a car that holds its value while delivering the core experience. The math isn't as scary as it first appears. The dream might be more affordable than you think. I bought one 6 months later, a 2023 911 Carrera in Guards Red, because if you're going to buy a Porsche, you might as well buy a Porsche that looks like a Porsche. The ownership experience has been everything I hoped and nothing I feared. It starts every morning without drama. It handles traffic without complaint. It carries groceries without compromise. It's a normal car that happens to be exceptional at the things that matter most. But here's what I didn't expect: how it would change my relationship with driving. I find myself taking longer routes home. I volunteer for road trips. I arrive at places feeling energized rather than drained. The car doesn't just transport me, it engages me. And on those rare occasions when I encounter a mountain road with no traffic, when everything aligns and the conditions are perfect, the 911 becomes something special. It becomes a bridge between what you want to do and what actually happens, between thought and motion. It makes me feel capable of things I never thought possible. Do I miss the extra 200 horsepower from my previous car? Not for a second. Do I regret the extra money I paid for the Porsche experience? Not for a moment. Because what I've learned is this: horsepower is just a number. Torque is just a spec. 0 to 60 times are just bragging rights. What matters is how a car makes you feel when you're behind the wheel, how it responds to your inputs, how it tells you what's happening where the tires meet the road, how it makes you want to drive, not just arrive. Other cars try to impress me with their performance. The 911 impressed me with its competence. Other cars wanted to be events. The 911 wanted to be a tool. The best tool for the job of driving I've ever experienced. And that's why your next dream car is a Porsche. Not because it's the fastest or the most powerful or the most exotic, but because it's the most right, the most complete, the most honest about what driving is supposed to be. In a world where everything is louder, faster, and trying too hard, the 911 just is. Perfect as it needs to be. Evolved as it should be. Complete in a way that makes every other car feel like it's missing something important. That's not opinion, that's not bias. That's just the truth you discover when you stop measuring the wrong things and start paying attention to what actually matters. Your next dream car is a Porsche, not because I say so, because deep down, you already know it's true.